Hi Sagittarius and Sagittarius Rising. Here's your horoscope for December 2024. I'm astrologer Joseph Anthony. Okay, here we are at the end of 2024. We are in your zone now with the sun going through Sagittarius. We have the new moon in Sagittarius, but we have also Mercury in Sagittarius, but it's retrograde, as you can see here. So we start off the month with a Mercury retrograde. We've got some very interesting dynamics this month because we have two new moons this month. We have the Mercury retrograde and we have Mars going retrograde right up in here in Leo. So this is what I mean by this interesting dynamic. On the one hand, you might be excited to start something new, go in a new direction, reinvent yourself. On the other hand, you'll be slowing down, going, what the hell am I doing? Where am I going? What's my future hold? So it's kind of a weird energy for sure, all right? So this reading is for anyone who has a Sag rising or has a sun sign in Sagittarius. This is a general sun sign reading using tropical whole house systems. It's very basic. It's very simple because I don't have everybody's birth chart, and everyone's birth chart is completely different and birthday is completely different. So let's dive in a little deeper and see what we come up with. So since Mercury is going to be retrograde, it's going to be opposing your ruler, Jupiter. So there's this push and pull dynamic between yourself and another this month that you're going to have to pay extra attention to, especially towards the middle of the month when Venus gets involved with Pluto and then Venus begins to square Uranus. So it's a very confusing month, to say the least. That's the kind of energy we're dealing with here. And so let's dive in a little deeper and see what we discover here. So the very first day of the month, we have the first new moon, and this one, fortunately, is in your sign at 9 degrees of Sagittarius. So this means, you're getting a lot more attention, the desire to reinvent yourself, change your appearance in some way, have other people be around. There's definitely a social aspect to this, and you're getting a lot more attention. But like I said, Mercury is going to slow down even more and oppose Jupiter. So watch for too much attention or someone in your life that could be really irritating on some level, even though you want to push forward. What this does is it can bring people with big egos forward and, interact with you, and then you have to deal with that nonsense as well. But this is really about you. New moon is always an opportunity to reinvent yourself in some way and somehow. And so with Mercury retrograde, something from the past that you've always wanted to do or are thinking about doing could return, and you'll have to kind of deal with it or, want to try it in some way. Now, we get into this Mars retrograde in Leo on December the 6th. Now, Mars goes retrograde about every 2 years. And like last year, Mars was in retrograde as we began the new year, and so was Mercury. So Mars in retrograde in Leo in the 9th house has a lot to do with your belief system, your philosophy, the meaning of life, your purpose, your drive, things about the future. And so when it goes retrograde, we tend to slow down. We're not as motivated. We have a little bit more doubt. And it'll be retrograde in Leo until about January the 5th or 6th. Then it'll retrograde back into Cancer in the 8th house. And it'll stay retrograde till about the end of February, unfortunately. So it's going to be quite a period of time where we're in this twilight zone kind of energy. Okay, so this is the universe's way of slowing us down so we could reevaluate what we want, where we're going, what's happening to society. I mean, if you look at the world as a whole, you could see how things are dramatically changing. From the technology to the political scene to people's behavior, you could completely see how everyone is changing. And so we're in that zone. And so we're going to have to deal with it. And Mars retrograde is going to slow us down even more. So just do the best you can and, stay optimistic and move forward. That would be my suggestion with Mars in Leo. And by the way, Mars in Leo, even if it's retrograde, is still a very creative energy. So if you're into art or if you're into some form of creativity, whether it's singing or performing or any of that stuff, it'll still be something that will inspire you, okay? Now, Venus enters Aquarius on the 7th, and here it is. It runs right into Pluto, right there in the 3rd house. So there's all kinds of communication issues on the table here now with this partner or other person, or it could be a group or an organization that you're affiliated with. a neighbor, a friend, a family member, whoever. But Mars, also is in the picture here opposing this. So not only is Venus conjuncting Pluto for a couple of days, and then it'll start moving forward, it'll immediately oppose Mars up in here. So Mars and Venus opposing each other is always a little tension in the air. So this is what I mean, again, by this is a weird month with this energy that's coming in, from the astrology. And so we have this very interesting dynamic where anything is possible now with Venus conjuncting Pluto, opposing Mars, over the course of, let's say, 7 to 10 days after this alignment occurs. So we've got a bit of a wild card situation occurring. Now, Neptune goes direct on the 7th later on that day. Not such a big deal because it's an outer planet, but it'll be more creative. You might find yourself being inspired or using your imagination a lot more, but it's going to help out a little bit. But there's another dynamic here with Neptune, and that is that full moon in Gemini on the 14th into the 15th. And so it'll be at 23 degrees of Gemini. So wherever that is in your birth chart, that's the area that gets lit up. But the issue here is not just the opposition, the full moon, which has to do with another person or other people. It'll be squaring Neptune right there. So this could have something to do with the family or moving or something to do with your environment that you work in. So we have a T-square developing here that can be tension filled. You see, that's what I'm saying with this full moon. So it's again, very weird dynamic. We have Mercury retrograde, we have Mars retrograde, and then we have this tension filled full moon. It's like the universe just keeps testing everyone. It's going, how much pressure can we put on you? How many challenges can we give you? And that's what it seems to be doing. But we'll get through it one way or another. It's just heavy energy that we have to work through, friends. Okay. We have also Mercury going direct, fortunately, on the 15th. Right there. It's in stationary position before it moves forward. And so over the course of the next couple of days, Mercury will start making its way down, which will be very helpful to get things clear, to realign yourself, to start focusing, start paying attention to what you're doing, and basically just dusting yourself off and going, okay, time to change things up and make things happen. Mars will be in a favorable alignment as well, as you can see here, to Mercury. So it's more of a take charge kind of energy after that full moon is activated, or right around that full moon is activated. So pay attention to what you're doing and see what happens. Now, the sun enters Capricorn on the 21st, as it normally does this time of the year. And we have it in the second house of income and value. So you'll be focusing a lot of your attention on how you make your money, your investments, what you believe in. And Capricorn is no slouch. It likes to get things done. So you're going to be quite motivated at this point to get things done. As Capricorn makes its way over the next 30 days or so into your second house. And so this is something we want to pay attention to. But we also have the second new moon in Capricorn on the 30th, adding more energy to the mix. And this will be at 9 degrees of Capricorn. So wherever that is in your birth chart, you want to take a look at that. And so with the new moon in the second house, it's basically yelling and screaming, going, I got to change. I got to do something different. I got to motivate myself to go somewhere else. I've got to find a new way of making money, or I got to change up my business, or I got to change my job. I've got to completely reinvent myself. So both of these new moons are empowering you to reinvent yourself, your belief system, your value system, how you earn your income. All of that stuff is going to be on the table. But I want you to notice something else. Pluto is now in almost an exact alignment with Mars. And a matter of fact, it will be in the first week of January. So we have this tension-filled energy that's motivating and driving people. And so watch out for conversations or with other people, because Pluto and Mars opposing each other can feel like a lot of tension in the air, friction, irritation, confusion. That's all in the mix. Especially as Mercury continues to make its way down into the numbers, it begins to run into Saturn right there. And that's between the 21st and the 30th. and Mercury is in your sign. So this could be something to do with family members, something to do with an estate, something to do with a sibling. That could be on the table here that is causing some of this frustration. So you got people around you, but it can be confusing and irritating. You got family members might be acting up or acting weird. And then you've got opportunities here to reinvent yourself with the 2 new moons right here in the 1st and 2nd house. Okay, so there's the brief overview. If you like these videos and you want to know more, I started last month doing extended horoscope videos in my Inner Circle community. So as you can see here, I do the extended, I do weekly astrology, I teach remote viewing now, that's something new that I'm doing, I teach astrology, and every Sunday we're on the Zoom calls in the private community talking about what's going on in the world, talking about current events. If you have questions about your chart, you could ask me in there. So there's a lot of interaction that takes place on those Sunday Zoom calls. So consider joining. You might learn something new and experience something different. All right. Do the best you can, Sagittarius. Have a great month, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.